hope my music ain't too loud. I just need it for my own time. So welcome to the vote. I just ain't uploaded the new moon time I road or whatever. But this is the full moon in Sagittarius and the star Purnima. So salutations to Lord Ganesha, who has a curved trunk, a large luminous body, and whose splendor is similar to a million suns. O Lord, please make my undertakings free of obstacles by extending your blessings and all my work always. Purnima is associated with splendor. Splendor is like influence, the ability to draw one and draw others into your orbit, or not your orbit, but just onto your team and stuff like that. So this is the chart for the full moon in Sag, right? Just looking at the elements, I was going back to basics in this month of learning. No bad Guru Purnima, it's full moon, where we give acknowledgments and we honor those who dispel ignorance and confusion. That's what our teachers, our guides, God, scriptures, all of that aims to liberate us from our conditionings and confusion. Feel me? Jupiter is natural ninth house lord, so it's associated with the spiritual ancestors. You do what I'm saying? Purnima is Appas, which is the cosmic waters, which is any type of water. It's all the waters. The water element is linked with ancestry and your ancestral lineages. You dig what I'm saying? That which flows through you. You understand? So the elements is kind of balanced. It's a pretty decent balance for planets and certain elements. So this just gives us a certain well-rounded approach to this next 2 weeks. The ability to understand perspectives from different angles, or to understand things in their different elements, right? So full moons represent a time of fulfillment, revelation, or things being revealed, things becoming highlighted in life, right? So new moons, they show us what's being planted. They kind of hint at and give us clues as to what is being planted. Full moons reveal what blooms from what has been planted. So new moon in Ardra has to do with the effort to struggle, the power to make effort through struggle and transformation. It is represented by a teardrop, so therefore it seeks to purify us. It is rain. Rain brings growth, eventually will bring stability. You dig what I'm saying? But a teardrop has to do with Ardra being a star of sorrow. So a seed, a sorrowful seed was planted, something that you really would have to find catharsis through, and you would have to like actually get through that struggle and that negativity or something like that. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. So new moon in Gemini plants the seed of having a lot of unanswered questions, and just having to observe things and trying to intellectualize your emotions. And you feel me? You kind of detaching from your emotions to a degree, right? But this full moon in Purnima, it highlights all the emotions that you feel, sacred ancestral memories. You dig what I'm saying? Just deep feelings, intuition, all of that. But it's aiming to purify. We make effort through, and Ardra we make effort through our struggles to purify ourselves. You dig what I'm saying? Rudra, it has to do with the force of destruction. You're getting rid of things, clearing the path to make for new things. You understand? So purification of our mind and our emotions in a general sense. Full moon in Sag it's going to highlight the places where we will adventure into, expand into, grow, right? Where we find a profound truth. So wherever Sagittarius sits in your chart, this full moon will reveal a profound truth. You dig what I'm saying? A certain purpose, a personal purpose, or a personal truth in the life. So we get clarity for those questions that we had during the new moon, the sorrow that we face, the questions for the sorrow that we went through. And we achieve purification. We achieve the ability to find conviction and a universal truth amidst the chaos and stuff like that. We find grace and good, deep, or deep understanding, good understanding. So Sagittarius, the field that the full moon is in. Sagittarius is idealistic and changeable. It is the field of integration and expansion, ruled by its mutable fire. So it's ruled by Jupiter, so therefore Sagittarius is then innately expansive, wise, optimistic, joyous in their pursuit of wisdom. Planets in fire are active, bold, and inspired or inspiring. So planets in Sagittarius are adventurous, truth-seeking, and direct. Right? So full moon in Sagittarius is adventurous. This next 2 weeks will be adventurous. You find you're seeking a profound truth, clarity, and you're going to be direct about the matters associated with the house that Sagittarius is. So Jupiter is Lord of Sagittarius, and in the chart he is 7th from his own sign, which gives it's thought to weaken the results and the promises and significations of the sign he lords, right? 7th to any sign, this kind of shows the marker or where the significations go, and symbolically they die, or they just like really in a weakened state. So the promises of Sagittarius of truth, expansion, adventure, teaching, honesty is heavily influenced by intellectualism, curiosity, conversation, and debates, right? They're social detached, right? So how that looks, truth could turn into dogma or debates. Expansion and adventures could be more on a local scale, just exploring your neighborhood more, your hometown. The teaching and the lessons from teachers and guides could be a bit confusing if they're not put in a very fundamental, like basic principled way, in a universal way where it's like you can apply it to whatever subject. For instance, I have a friend, he got Jupiter in the first house, his nigga Stretch. He was talking about class, and he played ball. He got I think him and Michael Jordan got some similar styles or whatever. He played ball, so he associates shit with basketball. When he was talking about the IT, learning IT, they got to talking about virtualization, and I didn't think of it till I started doing this, but I was like, oh, so virtualization, if you was to compare it to basketball, using that as your means of bridging that, like that universalization or whatever. Right, virtualization is that idea where it's like a person will watch somebody play ball and see them do certain moves, and in your head you kind of perform it. So the next time you actually put the ball, like you got the ball, you might do a triple threat or something like that and real cook somebody. You're like, whoa. So it's like that idea of, or even just a game like 2K or something. Right, so that's the idea. But learning during this time, it's like your mind might be trying to grasp small subjects with a broad perspective. You feel me? Which is not inherently a bad thing, but it's like you're very what is the word I'm looking for? Big picture about small things. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's not bad because it can expand in. Any little small thing can expand into something bigger, larger. But don't get caught up in so much detail and just accumulating information. Alright, so I said Moon and Sag seeks a profound truth and instinctively feels a deep benevolence from the universe. So they just can bounce back from, tough adversity. Purvashada does so, preparing for war or preparing for victory. You dig what I'm saying? Preparing for celebration. So having to get your mind ready for, you gotta purify your mind just for your own little sanity, no cap. So Moon and Jupiter are an angle. This is Gaja Kesari yoga. Gaja means elephant. It reflects wisdom, firmness, royalty. Kesari means lion, and it reflects courage, authority, leadership. Right? So where Gemini and Sagittarius sit in the chart is where you're well received and going to be well recognized. Ideally, is where you take leadership, where you apply joyous wisdom to, and grace and good understanding. So the star Purvashada is the invincible, the unsubdued, the festival. It reflects truth, conviction, and the ability to draw in authentic enjoyment, like a refined sense of enjoyment. Its symbol is the tusk of the elephant, or the tusk of Ganesha. It represents the ability to get through obstacles with wisdom and focused power, and the ability to tune into the dictations of a sage or a guru, like to be able to learn information, hear it being told to you, and you gotta write it down though. That's the whole kill. Yeah, information is passed lip to ear, but you gotta write things down. Jupiter is the knowledge, the wisdom, the good game, and good understanding. The moon is your senses, so the things you see, the things you can experience, the things that you hear. But from Jupiter and moon's association, Mercury comes about. So then you have to communicate and actually like discern what's really good information from bad. The things you should write down so that you can repeat and keep that in mind, and the things that you just get rid of, right? Winnowing basket. Also, a winnowing basket or a gold pan, it reflects discernment and the ability to separate truth from falsehood, the ability to separate what's authentic from what's counterfeit. You dig what I'm saying? So a person that does the gold panning or winnowing is used to separate grains from their husk. You dig what I'm saying? A shell of something, the counterfeit outward persona of something, from the inner magnetism or the inner force, and what do you call that, I guess, fruits of a person, right? If we do a gold pan, you put a gold pan in a little small little creek or babbling brook or some or river, and you go there right by the banks, and you take your pan, you dig in there, you dig in the dirt, like the river banks in the river, shake it around in the water. Appa's Purvashada, you let the water purify it. It's gonna wash away the dirt and the filth. Once the dirt and the filth go away, then you see the gold, and you be like, oh man, you feel me? And it's a little bit at a time. Nature does not take no large deposits. It's only taking small amounts of things. So whatever gold you got, whatever value you have, feel me, you move forward in that manner. Feel me? The hand fan, it represents refinement, the ability to fan flames and inspire. So that's to inspire some, invigorate it, heat it up, or the ability to make things cooler, which is, it suggests comfort, but it suggests also adaptability, you know. The deity, Apis, is the waters, the primordial waters. That's where everything comes from. It represents flow, purification, healing, the universe, and deep ancestral memories and your ancestral lineages, because that's where everything comes from. God separated the waters, and then from there he begins to make the different planets, the stars, the universe, feel me, from those waters. So Apis gives us depth, purification, universalization, the ability to make something available for all. Water is a universal solvent, and it has the ability to kind of like dissolve and even maybe like blend in some instances many different compounds and molecules. So things that we put in the water, things that we Appa allows us the ability to take information, take knowledge and experiences, uh, and realize it as, like, make it so simple and available to maybe people that maybe it wouldn't be. You feel me? This is the sign of both gurus. This is the star of both gurus. Jupiter, who is kind of a bit more high-minded, he has a certain criteria for who he wants to teach and things like that. And then you have Venus, who, you know, like, you could be a lowlife. You could have done really heinous things in the past, and he'll still teach you. He can bring you back from the dead. You feel me? So it's also opposites associated with the apsaras. So that's those who move in the waters. Apis offers us radiance and fluidity. So the apsaras is kind of like in a way, it's more like the stars and spots in space. Right? The Shakti for Purvashada is Avarcho Grahana Shakti. This translates to, well, this is the power to acquire brilliance and influence, the power to take possession, so to possess something, to ingrain yourself in the mind of something, right? So the root gra means to seize, to take, to absorb. It implies actively drawing in something or someone. The root, I don't know how to say that, but we'll say varch, means to shine, charisma, luster. It is an innate quality of personal power, influence, or a compelling conviction. So it gives the ability to grasp a vision, a truth, the ability to draw in others and form strong bonds as a result. The nature of this star is Ugra, which is fierce, formidable. It gives strength and assertion. In Sagittarius and Purvashada, it gives the strength to stand by a particular purification. Maybe a person doesn't drink, maybe a person doesn't smoke, maybe a person doesn't indulge in a certain aspect of hedonism. You dig what I'm saying? But you stand behind your beliefs and your truths. The keywords: conviction, preparing for victory, purification, and discernment. So conviction is just feeling like a sense of personal purpose. Preparing for victory. Sagittarius is Kurukshetra, which is the great battlefield. You feel me? And then Purvashada, opposite purification. The winnowing basket is discernment. So then we do full moon through the houses. So wherever Sagittarius sits in the chart, in your chart, shows the area that's being expanded, the area where a personal, profound truth or good understanding will be found. Purvashada is going to show the area where you're going to need to purify. You're going to need to find authenticity, and then you got to use discernment to separate what's authentic from what's counterfeit. So starting with Aries, this full moon impacts purpose, your worldview, your relationship with your father. So you can refine understanding of your purpose. There may be an event that has to refine or purify the relationship with your father. You got to find authenticity in there. So ask yourself, how can you align with your highest ideals? What truth are you ready to share with the world at large? Taurus, it impacts the psychological depth, your misfortune, or your shared resources. So it's intimacy and intensity. So you have to purify your emotional and psychological attachments and fears. Secrets, investigations may come up now, right? Your joint finances need discernment. You may need to separate from having shared resources, or you may need, just gotta be, maybe it's lies and shit going on. So what emotional or financial baggage do you need to purify? Gemini, it's going to impact your relationships. So you have to purify and be authentic in your approach to others and how you project on others in your relationships. So discern your authentic connections and relationships, whether business or romantic, from the vain like from being vain. You gotta discern that. How can you draw in more authenticity in your relationships and interactions with others? For Cancer, this will impact your health, work, employment, relatives, right? Enemies, maybe. So you have to refine your daily routine. Perhaps do a detox. Is your work authentic to you? So discern what habits invigorate you and are authentic and bring more, purification and cleansing and clarity in your life versus those that drain you and cause confusion and sluggishness. Right? So how can you draw in more spiritual meaning in your day-to-day life? For Leo, this impacts enjoyments, expression, and children. So it's a significant event related to children or romance. A realization about what brings you true pleasure, what you really truly enjoy, what you really truly love. How can you embody more pure self-expression? Feel me? How can you refine a relationship with, children or lovers or something like that? Virgo, this full moon impacts your home, peace of mind, and your family and ancestry. So it's a purification of your home and emotional roots. Refining old family and ancestral patterns, right? What emotional and family patterns are you ready to purify for your inner peace? How can you purify or how can you refine your home or renovate your home? Right? I know a Virgo moon that is currently getting the floors of their basement purified. There was asbestos in the tiles, so they have to come and take all the tiles up and put down new tiles and to purify the environment from asbestos. That's fire. That's corresponding. So for Libra, it's full moon impacts the way that you communicate and your relationship with your siblings. So you have to refine your communication style and speak pure with authenticity. You have to be discerning in your relationships with your siblings. Something may come up where you be like, hold on, I may have to separate from this. I love you authentically. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. But I have to refine that something ain't going on. The bond, something strange with the bond. So how can you refine your efforts in communication? How can you refine the relationship with your siblings, younger siblings, especially? Scorpio, this impacts your finances and security. So it's a profound truth arises about what really holds value for you. I think it's the area of family too. So you'll refine a relationship with money and your immediate family and your self-worth. What beliefs about your self-worth or finances do you need to separate or refine? Sagittarius, this impacts your sense of self and approach to life. There's a breakthrough in self-awareness and authenticity. There's a pure expression that's being revealed now. So it's a time for self-expression, self-purification, and refinement. Who are you truly becoming? What is your highest purpose? And are you aligning with authenticity and God? Capricorn, this impacts your subconscious, hidden patterns, and intuition. You dig what I'm saying? The place foreign residence. So it's a profound moment of intuition. Maybe you're detoxing, maybe you're resting, but you're releasing and you're detaching to a degree. So what subconscious patterns do you need to release? How can you refine your expenses? Like, how can you purify your expenses? Aquarius, this impacts your friends, your community, your profits, how you gain and expand in life. So something significant around friendship and aspirations. There's a realization about your aspirations. You may have to refine your desires and hopes and wishes, right? Discern what friendships are authentic and what's kind of just like superficial and a distraction, right? Are your connections authentic and do they support your expansion and aspirations, your goals in life? Pisces, it impacts your reputation, your ambition, and your livelihood. So refine your ambitions, refine your career, right? Uh, you may be seeking something that feels more authentic to who you are, right? And for Pisces, Jupiter is Lord of first house and 10th house, so your career should likely be linked and similar in its nature or its essence to the person that you are, right? So is your career authentic to you? How can you refine your professional path and your reputation, maybe? So the tarot is the Ten of Wands. This is Saturn and Sagittarius. So Saturn represents transformation, responsibility, uh, difficulty maybe, and then Sagittarius represents expansion, adventure, gains. It's good for gains, right? But it's also purpose, dharma. So you may be feeling like overly responsible, burdened, overwhelmed, right? It represents one being overworked, stressed, carrying too much on one's shoulder. It suggests a need to delegate tasks, prioritize, let go of unnecessary burdens. So Saturn and Sagittarius could tell you to just do your dharma. Focus on what your duty is in life. Anything outside of that, not so much. You're gonna be overburdened, because then you're gonna have to keep up with what a friend is doing, keep up with, what your boyfriends or such and such is doing, your lovers is doing. You gotta keep up with a certain show, but the only thing worth anything is kind of like what you do for God and vice versa, what you receive. So hey. And then the Sabian symbol is a bluebird perched on the gate of a cottage. It's peace and happiness. The formula for life, though complex, is reliable. When we get it right, we experience a serene easiness of being, finding inner peace and radiating beauty. Right? There are rewards for those who manage both to blend into the community and yet still maintain their own style of being. That's authenticity. These rewards tend not to be measured by things or money, but by nuances of beauty and contentment. That which makes us sing spontaneously as we are pottering around at home. So it's about comforts, that's water. Radiating beauty is Purva, finding inner peace, you feel me? It's a well-placed moon, a positive moon. So yeah, life, the formula for life through the elements, the gunas, all the forces of nature, it really is complex, but it's not that much of it. You got fire, you got ether, fire, earth, air, water. Then you got sattva, rajas, and tamas. So when you understand and we get to playing around with the formula of life and understanding what makes up this, because everything is made up of these small little parts of a whole. So when we begin to understand things, we can understand, okay, well, so for instance, my man Stretch, he was talking about like studying and shit, but they ain't really getting the information. But I'm like, he tell you about stuff they do out of class, and I'm like, well, it sound like y'all restless as shit. You do this, you do that, y'all restless. So I'm already knowing restlessness is a sign of an abundance of vata, which is air and space. So the ether and the air is not that you don't understand the information. It's just that you haven't done anything to make it concrete, drill it into memory. You feel me? Impress it upon your mind. So if you're not actually sitting there writing shit, you can watch videos all day. But if you're not actively like writing shit, so you watch a video on something, yeah, you might could actually do it. You might could do the thing. But when we talk about like having to take tests and get certain certifications, that's the realm of Mercury. Mercury is earth element. Earth element means it's gotta be something physical. It has to be something that has been, some type of like beyond a concept. It has been like concretized or it's now being material. It need material. So you gotta write shit. You feel me? It might not even have to be word for word. Anything that come to your mind, that your mind say, "Ooh, write that." Then you write that, and you'll just find like you'll do a little bit better. Ganesha is associated with Purva Ashada in this full moon. He was told he was being dictated. The Mahabharata was being dictated to Ganesha, but as he was writing, his pencil or his instrument ran out of what it must have broke, or it ran out of ink, or whatever it may be. Without any hesitation, he broke off his own tusk and had to keep writing, which just show us, man, you really gotta sacrifice whatever whatever you appreciate about yourself that you using. It ain't that much effort I got put into this. Like, look at this. You still might have to, break yourself. No bullshit. You still might have to break yourself for good understanding and get it that way, man. But yeah, nothing else. God bless.